Hey folks, you've got Joe from Seattle Leather Research again. Thanks for joining. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Business Briefcase 2 by The Leather Shop based in Seattle, Washington. Absolutely gorgeous vegetable tanned saddle leather bag. And I want to talk just very briefly about their customer service because I know that's super important to me, and hopefully it's important to you as well. It's probably the number two thing that I look at when deciding to, spend my money on something or do business with somebody. Right. So the first time I ordered this bag, I did so off of the recommendation from Jim Crane. So definitely check out his channel if you haven't. He reviews some pretty gorgeous high-end vegetable tan leather bags. Anyway, I saw the bag on his channel, loved it. It comes in two colors, kind of just off their website. A russet, kind of almost red-brown, very dark red-brown color, and then a natural oak veg tan color. So it's basically not dyed and not finished with any kind of coloring agent. So it's a very kind of cream colored tan. While I think that's a super cool color, I wasn't really sure about, just wanting to be having that as sort of my primary carry. I wanted a little bit of aging done to it. And so this is one of the cool things about the leather shop. I sent them an email and said, like, hey, can you guys, do sort of a saddle tan like I saw on Jim Crane's channel. He basically just tanned his out in the sun and used some leather oil, probably some neat's foot compound oil on it, and got this nice saddle tan. And they said, sure. So it took a little bit longer. I think it took 4 to 6 weeks because they kind of control the production of each and every bag that leaves. It's not like an assembly where they've got just stockpiles of stuff. Plus, I was ordering something custom. I got the bag back, and it was actually not a great color. It was, you could tell I think they probably used some sort of a neat's foot oil or mink oil on it, but it didn't really saturate the entire bag. And so I was kind of left with a mixture of sort of cream and peach almost. It was kind of light peach across most of the bag, and I wasn't a big fan. So I emailed them, let them know, and I sent it back to them, and they said they were more than happy to try again on the coloring. And so this is the result. So I got, I let them know, hey, I'm looking for more of like a more brown than, brown yellow than like a peach colored. And I think they nailed it. This is the result. And not only did they, redo the bag and share a new one with me, they hand delivered it to my office. It was actually Ken from the leather shop. He was willing. I said, hey, you know what? I want to take this on a trip, so I'd love to get it back sooner rather than later. And he said, cool, I will meet you in downtown Seattle. We're both in the same city. So that was awesome. And that to me is really great customer service. I did pay for shipping, but they did the additional work for free. I think this I think this might even be just a new bag. I'm not sure if they did anything with the old one, but to me, that's overall it's solid customer service, especially the fact that they took the time to hand deliver it. So anyway, so this is a lightly aged version of just natural veg tan. So it's going to get darker and darker with age, and I do plan to suntan it even further when I have a nice sunny day, actually like today, that I can do so. So let's take a look at this bag. So no front pockets. You can see that they've got inside pockets that are kind of double stitched into the leather. This is a full grain vegetable tanned saddle leather. So I kind of prefer the saddle leather over like bridle leather, and certainly over like tooling and craft veg tan leather. It's grade A. It's fantastic. USA made. All of the kind of rivets and the fixtures are brass or cast brass. They've got brass kind of strap keepers here, which is a really nice touch. Just looks super great. The front of the bag, I think, is really what sold me. I think this is what most people are going to see as you're carrying this around. I think it looks awesome. It is not super ornate. So if you go to their website and see some of their bags, I think they still might be selling the original briefcase. It's got a lot more ornamentation on it. The buckles, I think, are kind of bigger latches that are just kind of gold and loud, and then they've got kind of their big logo front and center. I'm not a fan of that. It's a little too fancy for me, and I just, I don't see myself carrying something like that. But this is perfect. It's understated. There's no logos on the front that you can see when the bag is closed like this. So it's great for that. So let's take a quick look at the back here. All right, so here you start to see the first kind of logos. And get a zoom in here. It's pretty cool. So made in the USA, I love that stamp. This other logo here right above that, it's got their URL. I think, it's small and it's not really noticeable. You can see how much I've zoomed in. I could do without it, and I think the guys at the leather shop would actually be willing to make this without this additional iconography. I love the made in the USA. I think that's a great signature and a good selling point. I could do without this one above though. And the leather shop does seem to really like their kind of ornamentation and their iconography. They've got lots of different kinds of logo displays that you'll see on other products. I'm more of a kind of understated style, so I'm glad that this is on the back at the bottom of the bag, where you can see it's not super visible, and you especially can't tell that it's a URL. If that URL was kind of on the strap or something, I wouldn't have purchased this bag. It's just a little bit too much. But again, if you like or don't like the logos, because these guys control the production of every single one of these bags, they'll fix it for you. They'll remove it, or they'll change it in a way that you want it to be changed. So again, it goes back to their customer service and their craftsmanship. That's all great. Stitching looks super good. I like that they use the white thread, so it's a polyester thread that's not going to wear down with sunlight or with oils from your skin. The magazine pocket is smaller than, just by comparison, my Saddleback thin front pocket briefcase. That I can fit a very large size magazine. This here, I could probably shove a couple standard size books, or maybe map books, or those Rick Steve style kind of travel books if you're taking this on the road. Inside here, you can actually see what the original color of the bag was. So this is that natural oak veg tan. And again, I love that color. I've actually got a wallet from Stock and Barrel, and I'm starting to get into leathercraft myself, and so I've made some things with leather of this color. I just didn't want the whole bag that way, but I think it's still really cool that the inside of the pocket and some of the border leather is that color. I think it's great, and it will darken eventually as well. Brass snap here. Super heavy duty. You can feel kind of how strong it is when you snap it. It's super secure. They've got this additional rivet in the back here. The straps are a mailbag style, which is, I was turned on to this style of carrying by Jim Crane, and I've fixed my Saddleback thin briefcase to kind of mirror this. I love the way that this bag holds when it's strapped in like this. It kind of hugs against you instead of like swinging out, so you don't have to worry about this kind of flopping out if you're carrying lots of other stuff. It's just going to be pretty secure and snug right up against you. So that's really cool. Straps are nice and heavy duty. So the straps are a 9-ounce, same type of saddle leather. Really great looking leather and really nice finishing on the edge of kind of the raw finished leather. Straps are very strong, and they can be made to be fairly long. I think I've let this out by a couple from when it first got to me, just to give it a little bit more length that I needed. But again, brass and thick leather, really great quality. Forget what this is, you know, nylon or some sort of felt here. I've now carried this for a couple weeks, sort of off and on, and I've traveled with it twice. There doesn't seem to be, you know, it's collecting a little bit of, you know, pet hair from my dog or something, but it's not wearing out. It's well stitched in. I'm okay with the look of it. I think for most things leather, I like it to be just 100% leather. But that said, this is a comfortable strap, and I think it doesn't look too bad, and I don't really worry about it kind of wearing out with use. So overall, I'd give it a thumbs up. So just another look at the strap here. Again, just that gorgeous saddle tan, saddle veg tan leather that's being used here on the top of the strap. So this is really what's going to be visible here as you actually wear it. Good looking strap. Let's take a look at the rest of the bag here. So let's take a quick look at the top of the bag and the handle here. So the handle is apparently 2 pieces of leather that just kind of folded on top of itself. It's got a little bit of separation with these brass D-rings here. It's very comfortable to carry, and unlike my saddleback bag, it does not have the big backpack, you know, mode O-ring that's just kind of a giant ring right here. So it's just super comfortable. You're not going to be hitting anything as you pick this up. And I think it just looks nice and clean. Not that I dislike the O-ring on my saddleback. I don't really need that feature because it's a thin front pocket briefcase, so I don't know that I'll ever use that, but still, I kind of like the clean look here. This is definitely a little bit of a dressier bag, as are most veg tan full grain bags compared to chrome tan. Again, the strap is connected by these D-rings. Let's take a look at the sides here. So here you can see that we've got a single piece of leather to make these gussets, and that leather sort of ends kind of here. Actually, yep, that's a different piece of leather up there, and kind of just continues along here. So this is one piece of leather making these 2 bottom sort of gussets here, and then this starts yet one more piece. So it's 3 total pieces that make up the sides and bottom of the bag. One thing to point out that I really like is kind of a small detail that, you know, may make a difference, may not, we'll see. But on all of their corners here, they've stitched extra pieces of leather layering. So here, you know, is a place that kind of is riveted in. You can see the rivets that are holding it in, and it contains the strap. And it also provides, I think, a little bit more protection as you kind of set this up and pick it up and set it down repeatedly. And so it's pretty cool that it's both sewed on and held in place with the rivets. So that's cool. That's the bottom of the bag. Again, the side is expandable, so it can get super, super thin. You know, if you don't have anything in it, or if you're just carrying an iPad or, you know, something thin and you don't want it to be super bulky, it can actually be cinched up using these side straps. Here's another D-ring in case you want to carry your bag on it that way. I think I tried that when I first got this and wasn't a huge fan. I think it just, it's harder to get the straps actually connected to this, and then it just sort of swings out a little bit more. So I very much prefer to use these back straps here. Let's go ahead and open this. So front of the bag, super heavy duty buckles here. Let's see. One thing I'll point out is that the leather will come stiff, and I think that's a good sign of kind of thick, well-tanned leather. And of course it will wear in, but you know, when you first get the bag, it's going to be stiff, even stiffer than, you know, a new chrome tan or saddleback bag. And I think, you know, this one is going to take longer to break in compared to those types of bags, but I think it's just really great. You can hear the groan of the leather. So it's got a great sound as well as just a nice kind of smooth feel. I believe the leather on the inside, or the actual body of the bag, is 6 ounce. So good thick leather. Again, 9 ounce for the straps. So let's take a look. So the top here, you can see kind of the rivet work that they've done to sort of secure the strap holders in place, and then all the additional brass rivets to hold the handle securely. Kind of an unfinished, I mean, it's not a raw back edge necessarily, but there's no, you know, there's no lining on it. It's not as necessary to line a veg tan bag just because it's not going to kind of stretch and get super floppy like a chrome tan will. So I think with chrome tan, you'd want probably some kind of lining so, you know, it won't stretch as quickly, or when it does, it's still being kind of held by something a little stronger that won't stretch. But I think it's totally fine to have just the raw leather back on the inside here. Here we go with the with an additional logo here. Actually, I like this logo a lot. I think, you know, were I to design the bag, I'd almost put this one kind of more, you know, on the back where the other kind of signature was, and then I don't know, maybe just nothing here. Again, I'm kind of a minimalist, but you know, that's one thing about the leather shop. It's kind of referred to as both the leather shop as well as Moose brand leather. I think they even refer to themselves in those two different ways. As an advertising guy, I think it's kind of confusing to have multiple signatures and brands and logos that represent your business. I don't think it makes any difference to the bag at all. That just, you know, it's hard for me not to think about that when it's the type of stuff I think about for a living. So this is the front of the bag with the strap off. Again, looks super great. Don't mind my little ornament here that I'm just kind of hanging on there. The straps are held in place. I think this is something else I wanted to point out. The fact that instead of building another piece of leather that they then sew on top, they've actually just kind of cut the leather so the strap will fit through, and then is held in place, you can see there, by just sort of a leather pad. I think it looks really great. I think it looks cooler than straps that have, you know, just that outside piece of, you know, small piece of leather that's just stuck on the outside here. I think it really looks sort of unique and clean, and super cool to the way that they've kind of contained their straps. So I think that's awesome. Getting inside of the bag here, so there is a space here for probably a small like Mac Air iPad. This is where I keep my iPad. If I were to keep my 15-inch laptop, it would be in the second compartment here. One thing you'll notice as we get into the inside here is these are the pockets, and the dividers are not raw edges, and on the outside is the same. It's all just folded leather that's been sewn. So the result is something that's really thick and really kind of firm and nice. So, you know, this isn't gonna like fray and just look super, you know, kind of raggy's not the right word, but, you know, just kind of raw, like bristly over time. It's just gonna stay super clean. These pockets here are super tight. You could probably keep a wallet or a phone pretty snugly back here. It's riveted in here again, which is nice on the corners where, you know, you're gonna pull it constantly. So it's great to have that rivet on top of the sewing there. So again, kind of smaller space in the very back. space for a good sized laptop here in the middle. And then in the front, you know, this is right now I've only got some gum and some chapstick here in this pocket, so you can kind of see the size. This is just like a regular sized gum pack. You've got a brass little lanyard here that's removable, where you can attach your keys, or, you know, remove it if you'd like. And then another generous pocket on the inside here, which is really nice looking. Dividers, again, great looking brass rivets. The folded over leather tops of the pockets are really nice. Kind of a raw leather inside, so no additional lining, but I don't really think you need it. Overall, this just seems to be a very well engineered bag with super high quality leather. I'll show you how this sort of works here. So this can be totally, you know, just undone. You can stretch out the gussets as much as you may need to if you're just carrying a ton of stuff. So it's got that kind of classic briefcase sort of look on the side there. And then you can, pardon me there, you can cinch this up quite a bit so that if you're not carrying lots of things and you want to kind of not have it be as big and bulky, you can kind of cinch up this top piece here, and the bag will get quite a bit thinner. You can see I'm not holding it at the bottom here, but it just kind of gets a little bit thinner overall because you're strapping it in up here. So I think that's a really cool kind of above and beyond feature as well. Let's get that back in place. Super heavy duty snaps here. Yeah, this is basically it. So I've got a little luggage tag. I'm traveling with this guy. This is the second trip I've taken this bag on, so I've added a leather tag here from Portland Leather Goods. Pretty cool little business here. You know, one thing I'll point out too is you've got to be careful, I think, with this out in the elements, and that is one thing I would say is kind of a not necessarily a negative. You've just got to be aware of it. I think they're actually have already worn away, but I had this out in the rain. Oh, you can see a couple still down here, I think. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, you can kind of see them faintly. It used to be worse. I think they've since dried up. You can see it more here. Water spots. I was out in the rain, and so as water hits kind of, veg tan leather, it can sometimes leave a mineral deposit on the bag itself, which is, a pro in terms of, if you've got a chrome tan bag, you shouldn't have to worry about that happening. For veg tan, it can do that. I think it's fine. It wasn't super noticeable. And, over time, I think it will go away. And as I condition and oil this bag, I think it's just going to look super, super great. So, yeah, at a price point. So let's talk about price. So if you're looking at Saddleback, for instance, just as a comparison, their classic briefcase that does not have pockets in the front is $698, I believe, or $689. Got that mixed up. So that bag is going for about $700, and this bag is going for $100 more, so it's $790. And they didn't charge me extra for any of the custom work or the hand delivery, any of that stuff. So at $100 difference, you could be getting just this gorgeous sort of handcrafted bag, small production bag, that is veg tan saddle leather, and with all the kind of full brass rivets, heavy duty straps. And I think for the price, what you're getting is really good. I think Chrome tan, I think Saddleback probably could charge a little bit less. You know, I don't know all the cost that goes into the production of those bags. I know it's high quality leather. I think it's still high quality, though it's tanned in Mexico. I know they stuff it with waxes, and it's weatherproof and very thick. And so there's nothing wrong with, I think, paying, you know, $690 for a quality piece of leather bag that's going to last forever. I think, you know, I own the thin front pocket briefcase, which I think was $500 or $600. But this is just a different look. It's a little bit dressier. I think it's going to age a little bit nicer, and I'll continue to do update videos on this to just show, you know, how it's, you know, changing color and how the patina is sort of baking in. So I think this is just going to age differently. It's going to hold its shape a lot better over time. I think as it gets softer, it will look probably better than a chrome tan bag will. And veg tanning, you know, it's a cleaner process that requires, I think, generally more craftsmanship, old school, old world craftsmanship, because this was the original way to tan a piece of leather. So I think for $100 more, it's a steal. It's definitely a steal. And again, low ornamentation overall compared to some of their other bags. Logos are discreet, and I think it's great for a Pacific Northwest person that wants to look a little bit dressier. Again, protected corners, everything's reinforced with rivets. This is a definite buy. If you're looking for a briefcase, and you want something that's a little bit dressier than the ruggedness of a chrome tan leather bag, this is absolutely the way to go. These guys are great to work with, and I think it's a lot of value for the price. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a like and hit me up with a subscribe, as I'll continue to do updates on this bag and my other leather products. And thanks so much for watching.